Never before have I had to wait a week to film a video because I was too pissed off about the situation to talk about it. That changed though last week after my interactions with some of the powers that be over at McFarlane Toys. Let me be clear, this is not about design, articulation, quality, selection. No, this is a straight up business situation. Even now I'm still seething. What's up, everybody? My name is Matt, often called Big Nerdy. Together, we are the NWO, the Nerd World Order, and this is Nerd. Probably didn't sound as motivated and pumped up to do a video as I usually am because I'm not. Unlike most people who own a business of any type, I am really blessed to have this platform, YouTube. I try to be positive. I try to only use this channel, this platform to spread good news and positive news because let's face it, even in the toy world, there's a lot of negativity and toxicity out there. I don't want to be part of it. But today I am going to go and be pretty negative, to be honest with you, because this is a big deal. As I said, it has an effect on my business, and I think long term it could have an impact on customers and like the end consumer. I am very blessed to have this platform to talk on and have people actually listen to me, so I'm going to take advantage of it today. And my hope, more than anything else, is that somebody shows this video to Todd McFarlane so he knows how his company's being run. Again, want to make sure I got this really crystal clear. Somebody show this video to Todd. I don't have a direct contact to him, so I think he's going to want to see it. So if you know Todd, if you know someone who knows Todd, if you have Todd's contact info, forward him this link and tell him he needs to watch it.
You know someone like that?
Let's just say I know a guy who knows a guy.
Todd or Toddfather, I hope you're watching this now because I would like you to know what happened, and I'm hoping that you can reach out to me and we can figure this out. And it doesn't have to be you, a representative is fine. Busy man, I know.
Have your people call my people.
So backstory, let's talk about the last couple of years. When the store started, I carried McFarlane Toys. It was a train wreck. They had overprinted the toys so much, everybody knew that you could get them for $5 in a month because there were so many of them. Even today, toys from that era, like around the time that the Batman came out, you can't give them away. It's almost like you have to pay people to take them because there were so many of them. I'll also admit that I did not like the toys very much. If you go back and watch them a few years ago, I got my first McFarlane figures, and one of them really turned me off. Specifically, it was a Wonder Woman figure, and it had these legs that looked like Play-Doh, and it didn't look like Gal Gadot at all, and I was really like, wow, so this is McFarlane, and that painted the picture of McFarlane Toys for me, and I was like, you know what, I'm not making money, I'm losing money, I don't really care for the toys, I'm just not going to carry these, so I clearanced them out and just stopped carrying them. Last spring/summerish area, I got contacted by someone at McFarlane Toys. She was the licensing coordinator, and for the sake of this video, we're going to call her Laura. No, that's not her real name. So Laura reaches out to me and says, hey, can we send you some product for your channel? I'm thinking, okay, this happens a lot. They probably don't know that we're a channel and a store. They're just trying to get some social media engagement. So I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And since I wasn't selling the product at the time, I didn't think anything of it. Got a box of stuff, opened it on a live stream. Again, the video's somewhere in the back catalog. And I was actually pretty impressed because I felt like compared to that first batch of figures I opened, and specifically the last figure I opened was that Wonder Woman with the Play-Doh legs, and I was completely turned off. But I actually thought they were really cool. Wasn't a huge fan of the selection. Like some of the figures were like, I don't know who this is. I don't know who this is. I don't know what he is. I don't know. I don't know. And it was like, you know, on repeat, but I was really impressed with the figures. Then I went to PowerCon, and at PowerCon, McFarlane Toys was literally giving away some of the older figures. Like they were doing a thing. They had a deck of cards, and depending on what card you picked, that was the figure you got. And it was weird to me because I'm like, wow, they really had a lot of extra figures. But it also was like, okay, they realize what's going on. That means that the overprinting's probably going to slow down. And then it happened. The overprinting slowed down tremendously, and we started to see things sell out like almost immediately. And this got me like, okay, product's better, business situation's better, maybe I should start selling this stuff. So late last summer, early fall, somewhere in there, I started selling McFarlane product again. With any new product, the initial traction is very slow, but it was slowly getting better with each release. You'd go from like 2 units, one for one release, then 3, then 4, then 10. Like it was slowly moving. I was pretty confident that they could be a big part of the store. And I was excited because there really isn't any other mass DC toys, obviously. There's Mafex, but they're not mass produced and they're expensive. Same with Mezco. Then came New York Toy Fair, and I was able to set up a meeting because they had meetings only there for McFarlane Toys. I went in, I met a guy, we're gonna call him Tony. Tony shows me around, shows me all the upcoming product, shows me the Batman Forever stuff, and I'm just like, wow. Like, I had seen some pictures. I believe at that point, some pictures had been released, but I hadn't seen them all in person yet. This is actually really, really nice product. And I was actually really pleased with how they treated me. They didn't act like a gigantic company. Some of the companies at Toy Fair, like, that's a story for another day. They were like, we don't want to be here. Why are you here? Todd's even moving around in the booth. I kind of wanted to go try to get a selfie, but I didn't want to seem like a gigantic nerd, so I didn't. But I got a business card. I talked to them about setting up an account, and they said, we'll talk soon. About a week after Toy Fair, I started doing all of my follow-ups with the people I met. And to be honest with you, most people I met did not actually return emails. So again, it was interesting to see them at Toy Fair, and then they were just like, hey, yeah, okay, guy, whatever. That wasn't the case for everybody. This is where I developed my relationship with 3Zero. This is where I got my account. So it did work out well, but I was actually surprised that McFarlane Toys, there was someone there who got back to me relatively quickly when I reached out to him. We're going to call this person Paulie. Paulie then set up a Zoom call with me, and we had about a half-hour Zoom conversation where we talked about my business, what I do, as well as my desire to continue to grow the McFarlane line. Him and I think McFarlane in general were curious about my business model in general because YouTube channel start, store later, not exactly like the common recipe. So I think they were interested in working with me because of the fact that I had that situation, because they were incredibly gracious. By the end of the conversation, we talked about setting up an account. He asked me about my sales volume for other toy lines, and I told him. For example, I told him I do X amount in NECA, X amount in Hasbro. And he looked at the NECA and specifically, and he said, oh, wow, so if you're doing that much in NECA, you should be able to do probably at least 75% of that with us, which will put you way over the annual sales goal. At this time, though, the DC to NECA ratio was not 75% to 1. It was more like 10 to 1. For every 10 NECA I sold 1 McFarlane. So I was very much like, oh, okay. And I was very hesitant to set up an account because of that. And I told him that. I was very honest. And I said, to be honest with you, I think I can, but I don't want to overcommit. I need to continue to get the ball rolling on this and continue to build traction on McFarlane product. But to be honest with you, in order to do that, I need the material ahead of time. Like, I know you put pictures out a week ahead, you put out like the diorama shot, but getting the actual product info, so things like price, official title, UPC, description, all of the pictures. In order to do that, I can plan my marketing campaign around it, and I can have the information ahead of time to go live at the exact time it goes up. He said, oh, well, if that's all you need, that's easy. Hold on. He literally looked away for 10 seconds, came back and said, okay, you're on the mailing list. Check your email. And from that point forward, every couple of days, I got an email from Paulie with an updated schedule. And then 2 weeks before a product launch, I get an email saying, here's the information, pictures to follow. A week after that, after they had been released to the general public, we got the pictures. As 2024 started, McFarlane Toy sales for me just jumped. I attribute this to a couple of things. First of all, we were already growing. Secondly, people were seeing, I can get my McFarlane stuff from Nerdzoic too. So we were continually, wave after wave, getting bigger and bigger. The Batman Azrael wave, thumbs up. The Plastic Man wave, thumbs up. That first digital wave with the really nice Green Lantern, great sales. Also, some of the other McFarlane stuff was selling not great, but I was able to sell a case 2, 3 of each thing. Warhammer, to a smaller degree, Music Maniacs. That last Spawn wave sold pretty well. So then we get to May, and it's right around Memorial Day weekend. I send Paulie an email saying, hey, Paulie, I'm ready. Let's set up the account. Nothing, no response. A week after that, I'm starting to get concerned. I'm like, did I say something wrong? Because I'm getting no response. Paulie used to send me like 3 emails a week as part of like the schedule. And then I'm like, okay, well, McFarlane has been kind of slow on releases here in June. Maybe they're doing vacations and stuff and just not planning anything big. But then by the end of June, I was like, okay, no one's putting stuff out to me at all, so something's wrong. So I went on LinkedIn and I looked up Paulie's name, and sure enough, hey, look at that. Paulie's not with McFarlane anymore. Don't know if he quit. Don't know if he got fired. Don't know. No clue. So at this point, I'm like, well, this sucks. I went back to my Rolodex. Yes, I still have a Rolodex. And I found Tony's card, who was the first person I met at Toy Fair. So I reached out to Tony and he said, oh yeah, he's no longer with us here. I'm going to loop in a couple of other guys, and he added some other names in there. And I was like, oh, cool. Thanks, man. Week goes by, nothing. Send another email. Now, I hadn't had the other guy's emails. He had just forwarded it to him. This time he actually tagged them on the reply and said, hey, I'm going to add these guys in. Before it was just, I'm going to email them. So I assume he did, maybe he didn't. Finally, June 12th, I sent my final Hail Mary email saying, hey, is anybody there? Does anybody work there? Really want to get this fixed? I haven't gotten any assets or pictures in weeks. What's going on? Can somebody please help me? It was basically my like throw the flag in the air moment. That is when I finally heard back from one of these guys, and he ended up being a VP. So Okay, cool. Well, I got someone's attention, but the response was not what I was expecting. Do you buy from McFarlane? I don't see any sales to Nerdzoic Toy Store this year at all. So I'm like, oh, good. Gonna have to start from scratch. Fine. So I basically sent a very long letter explaining everything I already put in this video, which I'm actually gonna put it on the screen here. If you want to read my email, pause it. There you go. And then here's his response, which basically, if you read that email, tells me that he didn't read my email. But then I was like, okay, maybe he's busy. He probably skimmed it. So then I emphasized again, hey, I just need these pictures, man. If you don't have time to set up an account right now, that's fine. I just need to get back on this list that I was already on. He replied back, sorry, no account, no list. That's a sum up. There's the actual, again, pause to read. So I emailed yet again and said, again, I'm trying to get an account. So we're on the same page here. Get me an account, get me the pictures. Everyone's happy. So then he lets me know, nah, we're not doing accounts. I am getting kind of heated. I'm like, you know what? This guy wants to do brass tacks. I'll do it. So I send him this email that basically says, give me a number, because we both know that you're not just going to not accept accounts. We both know that's not true. There's a number in mind. Just tell it to me. Give me some goalposts. Again, sorry, can't help you. This is when I just said, F it, was done for the day. I was pissed, went and drank, to be honest with you. I felt like I was back in corporate America with a boss telling me to go like piss off because I was annoying him. I had a whole weekend of anger because of it. I like to emphasize too that this whole story shows all the way back last November-ish when I had that first meeting with, I'm forgetting what I named these guys, Paulie. I had been on the slow process of selling this stuff, getting an account, and partnering with McFarlane. Here's the thing, going to distributors is crap for McFarlane right now because they can't fill the product. They must have gotten burnt so bad on the ordering situation a year ago that they're not barely ordering it. So unless you order the product sight unseen months in advance with just some notes like, yeah, this is a Batman figure, you can't really order it. If that's not enough, they are gouging the pricing on it. Like literally after shipping, there's like $2 or $3 for McFarlane products to be made. McFarlane makes Hasbro look amazing when it comes to actual profitability. And that's because of the distributors, because I actually know the wholesale costs otherwise, and they're much higher. What we got now is a situation where it's not a level playing field. The bigger stores, EE, Big Bad, they get to go, hey, it's 12 o'clock, let's start marketing this stuff. Yesterday, all of the McFarlane posed figures, they're statues, guys, all of those dropped, and because of the fact that I couldn't get them all up until about 12:45, because I had to sit by the computer waiting for them to drop, my sales dropped tremendously. It sucked. So what are you afraid of giving this information out if the pictures are already out there? If that is already your system where you release some of the pictures, why not release the rest of the pictures? Why not release the rest of the information? Why is this such a big deal? Go talk to the companies I have NDAs with. 3-0, NECA. I think Valaverse I have one. The point is, give the NDA and you don't have to worry about things going out ahead of time. In the end, this feels like collusion, and it sucks because all the big stores are getting the advantage. The small stores, or even me, I'm not even small at this point, but nope, sorry. Even though your sales are there, your sales meet the threshold, we're gonna hold you down. Again, sales are there, held down artificially. It feels like crap. It's not like I'm asking for special treatment that other stores aren't getting here. I'm asking for the same treatment that stores who are willing to place the same level of orders are getting. Like, do we want to talk numbers? Right on your website, it says $100,000 in annual McFarlane sales. No problem. What's wrong with my money? Isn't it green? And what are the implications of this on the market? What do you think happens without competition? Nothing good. Nothing. This is the same as the risk of DTC. If one or two people control the entire market, there's less competition, which means that they can manipulate the market and drive up prices artificially. Again, I'm not saying that that's what they'll do, but that's what they or anybody else could do, because that's how economics works. And I gotta be honest, I'm really surprised that we're in this situation with McFarlane Toys. I have had nothing but good relationships with them ever since we first met. And this is still Todd's company. Todd owns 100% of it, I believe. And Todd, now I'm talking to you directly. I know you left Marvel because of censorship issues, but you've since proved yourself to be a business juggernaut. I'm sure you've encountered situations where you were being pushed down, where you were not giving a level playing field and you had to fight through it. And you did. And guess what? I'm gonna too. But I gotta ask you, do you want to be the company that literally makes it harder for other companies to grow while keeping other companies up top here? I see you guys trying to do direct to consumer. That's fine. If I owned a company like McFarlane, I'd do it too. But I also wouldn't be stupid enough to do just direct consumer, and I don't think you guys are either. So I ask again, do you want to be a company that snuffs out small businesses to preserve the big ones? Or do you want to make a level playing field where the best man wins. So here's what I'm asking for. I'd like an account. Your site lists $100,000 minimum sales? No problem. $30,000 opening order? No problem. Not enough? Want to have a bigger number? Give me a goalpost. That's all I'm asking for is a goalpost. Because we all know there's a goalpost. Are you telling me that if Mark Cuban or Elon Musk bought the rights to Toys R Us and decided as a passion project to reopen every store, you're telling me you wouldn't give them an account? Of course you would. You'd be crazy not to. Obviously, I'm not that big, but at least tell me, you gotta have a number in mind. What's the deal? Why can't I have an account? And if I can't have an account, why can't we work together with assets again like we did before? You never had me sign an NDA. Happy to sign an NDA. Some of you might be wondering what's the future of me selling McFarlane stuff? Well, it's not gonna change. I'm gonna continue to sell it because I'm not stupid. Money is money. So yes, I will continue to sell it, but I won't be putting the same amount of advertising push into it as I did before. It'll just be, hey, here's McFarlane stuff. I will not be opening the products and making videos of it because why would I put the effort into pushing a product in a company that basically told me to piss off? I wouldn't. And I apologize if any of this comes off as too harsh, but even filming this a week later, I'm angry. And McFarlane Toys Todd, I have nothing but respect for you. But this situation, guys, come on. You respected us, Nerdzoic, enough to send us stuff to do a partnership with, but now what? We got new management? What's the deal? Reach out to me. Let's talk. And again, comment, tag Todd, send it to someone at McFarlane Toys, do whatever you can. But even in the wake of these serious conversations, it's important to remember, you have to get old, you don't have to grow up. Just be cool and stay nerdy. Big Nerdy out.